Ben ritrovati ragazzi sul canale di Ghelloz, nuovo episodio della nostra partita in Raven Remastered. Ah, questo qua che dorme. Complimenti, complimenti. Sto per starnutire, aiuto. Ho messo muto ma poi lo starnuto non è uscito. Ci sono le luci verdi e rosse. Strano. Comunque esaminiamo un po' qua la faccenda.
It may not seem like it, but Constable Oliver is actually a very effective watchman. Constable Oliver brought something to drink. You can tell it's not the first time he's had to guard something. The bottle should be full of water, unless the good constable happens to have a secret alcohol problem. No way to verify that. I can't get the bottle without him noticing. The bottle should be full of water. No.
What's going on?
The Raven just flew by.
What?
Or at least, he might as well have.
I wasn't asleep.
I understand. It was just a ruse. Any conclusions about a young stowaway?
He's a bit suspicious, foreign and whatnot.
I see. Did he act suspiciously in any way?
No. The shot surprised him as much as it did me. Looked in on him earlier. Still seems to be asleep.
Covered with a blanket from head to toe?
Ah, he's still in there. I poked him.
May I go downstairs and have a couple of words with our guest?
No, you may not.
Come again?
Inspector Legrand wants to conduct all the interrogations himself.
I'm sure he'll understand if I form my own conclusions.
He ordered me to guard the door, and that's just what I'm gonna do.
How about a bit of individual initiative?
How about letting a man do his job? Or do you think you'd be better at it?
What do you think?
What
happened here last night?
The Raven broke into the Baroness's cabin, she surprised him, and he shot her.
What was he looking for in her cabin?
She was a rich woman.
He didn't want to steal her purse. He wanted the third key.
So Legrand also told you about that?
Why did he lock the door?
Why not?
From inside? An impressive trick.
I'm not saying I know how he did it. I'm just saying that it was him.
Why didn't he leave a raven feather?
Are you serious? We'd have suspected him straight away.
But fortunately, we still did. Let's assume that the old Raven really has returned and that he really is responsible for all this. Who is he? Or she?
Oh, could be anyone. No one's ever seen the Raven.
He could also be paying someone else to do his dirty work.
Well, of course. It's a fact that he used to work with partners. They even arrested some of his accomplices.
But no one could ever identify the Raven himself. Some claims that they didn't even know that they were working for him. Fascinating. He could have hired someone with financial difficulties to set off the alarm at a certain time without that person knowing why they were doing it.
The man Legrand shot back then, he was a famous safecracker. He could just as well have been a henchman.
Or the real Raven. There's probably no better cover for a big thief than acting like a small one. I don't want to keep you from your duties any longer.
Good idea.
Comunque non mi sta molto simpatico questo qui. Ma non c'erano le righe prima? O mi confondo io? C'erano le righe? Boh.
The bottle should be full of water. No,
non possiamo ancora controllarlo. Andiamo qua.
I wonder if this game is an advanced version of bocce. Maybe the inventor realized that it's difficult to play ball games on a boat and came up with an alternative.
Può essere.
Salty sea air in my old lungs, wind in my thinning hair. If I hadn't become a policeman, I could have been a sailor.
Beh, crociere sono di sicuro rilassanti, però per i passeggeri forse. Andiamo alla porta della stiva.
The stowaway surely didn't sleep well last night in the cargo hold, although his cell is probably more comfortable than my cabin, and more spacious.
Addirittura dove t'hanno messo a
I
dormire?
have to talk to the young fellow right away. Even though he was already under arrest at the time of the shot, he may have noticed something before. And what about the other gunshot? Could the second missing bullet from the murder weapon be stuck down there in one of the wooden crates? If I want to get into the cargo hold, I'll have to get rid of the constable first. He won't let me talk to our young friend. I have to talk even and could if he He won't let me talk to our young friend. He respects Legrand far too much to disobey his orders. If I want to get into the cargo hold, I'll have to get rid of the constable first.
Vediamo. Se clicco lì, che giro fa? Bisogna salire dall'altra parte, vediamo. No, al massimo arriva qua, quindi. Cioè, in questa parte di nave non ci possiamo andare, sostanzialmente. Va bene. Quindi non ci avranno messo niente. Come facciamo a distrarlo? Proviamo a tornare giù e vedere se intanto ci sono delle novità. Mamma mia, questo qua è proprio agitatissimo. E giù.
A singed pillowcase is proof that there must have been a second gunshot. Inspector?
Can't you knock?
I didn't realize. I'm
not getting anywhere. I'm going to question each passenger individually. Anyone without an airtight alibi will be checked for gunshot residue.
But, Inspector...
People trip up when you put pressure on them, Constable Zellner. The Raven is nervous. He's changed his methodology and become a murderer. I'll see it in his eyes. After you.
But, Inspector Legrand... We have no proof that the Raven and the murderer are the same person.
You may not know it, but I do. I will catch him, with or without your help.
Si vede che non dorme da tanto.
I don't believe it. What's gotten into him? Ah, well, it makes no sense to tell him about my theories if his opinion is already set. I need evidence. Or better yet, the murderer. I also need his lab if I'm going to get anywhere. I need to get in there somehow. And I really need to talk to the stowaway. He may have information, and the inspector will just ignore him, since he's too young to be the Raven.
Allora, abbiamo un bel po' di cose da fare. Dobbiamo entrare qui dentro. Tra l'altro, francamente, non ho capito che cacchio si stava lavando i denti. O stava facendo qualcosa di peggio. Non ho capito. Ah, cioè, esamina la macchia di sangue. La macchia di sangue del materasso ha un aspetto strano. Indizio. Se prendessi un campione di sangue potrei esaminarlo nel dettaglio. E come cacchio faccio a prendere un campione di sangue? Questo che non capisco. Comunque sono tornate le righe, che non si vedevano più. Ispettore Legrand. Può appena iniettarsi qualcosa. Forse uno stimolante. Ah, ecco. Allora non si stava lavando i denti, ragazzi. Bene. Guardiamo un po' la porta.
Legrand locked the door. The lock isn't especially secure. If I had a wire or something like that, I could probably pick it.
Forcine. Andiamo a chiedere le forcine alla mamma di Matt, che dato chissà dove è finita. Qua c'è anche la mia cabina.
I need something to open the lock. The key would be best, but a wire would do.
Andiamo qua.
We're lucky that the Lydia has a well-stocked medical center at its disposal. I suppose it was added during the war. A ship of this size wouldn't normally have a full medical center.
Effettivamente è così. Proviamo a entrare nello studio medico.
Dr. Gebhardt locked the door, and until I have good reason, I won't wake him up. Something tells me that he wouldn't be amused.
La pianta l'avevamo già guardata. Perché mi dice che devo guardarla ancora?
There are little stones in the flower pot.
Non me ne sarei mai accorto, meno male abbiamo usato l'aiuto.
Not only does the poor plant have to make do without sunlight, it doesn't have any soil either.
È finito di... Prendi...
Really?
Qualche...
What am I supposed to do with stones?
Prendile e basta.
Although, sooner or later...
Adesso gliele lanciamo addosso al vecchietto. Abbiamo un bel po' di prove, dobbiamo riuscire a prenderle tutte, ragazzi. Assolutamente. Qua non si può andare da nessuna parte. Torniamo di qui, cerchiamo il fil di ferro. Tanto aveva che fare l'interrogatorio.
Mr. Kreutzer, come on, you have to give me a bit more. You're the only one who was on the train and who has no alibi for last night.
As I said, I was in my cabin.
Are you sure that it was your cabin and not the Baroness's?
Legrand will question the guests, one after another. But if he doesn't get the answers that he wants to hear, it could become unpleasant for them.
Non posso rimettere via questo. Federa. Quindi dovrebbe esserci anche un cuscino vuoto, se questa è la federa. Cioè senza... un cuscino senza federa comunque.
Lady Westmacott, may I bother you for a moment?
By all means, Mr. Zellner.
How is the questioning going?
Are you implying that I'm an eavesdropper? The inspector is placing a lot of pressure on our dear Mr. Kreutzer. He's the only one who was on the train and who doesn't have an alibi for last night.
Perhaps. But him? A murderer?
I know people like him. He doesn't have enough backbone to kill someone in cold blood and remain so calm. He'd turn it into a drama and then a farce. Drink himself insensible, and then, railing at fate, pitch himself into the sea. Forget him. Legrand is wasting his time. Mr. Kreutzer just happens to be a perfect fit for the inspector's image of the Raven.
Athletic, cultured, moves among the rich and famous.
I'll eat his violin if he's the Raven or the murderer.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course. Mr. Kreutzer clearly feels uneasy. But does Legrand actually think he's the Raven? Legrand is absorbed in the interrogation. He still seems pretty annoyed. The violinist seems to be bearing the brunt of it.
Legrand
will attend to the interrogations, and I'll handle the investigation. I won't talk to him again until I'm ready to present the murderer.
Addirittura.
Legrand will attend to the...
Va bene.
Mr. Kreutzer clearly feels...
No. Allora io voglio trovare il fil di ferro. Tanto abbiamo delle pietre, piccole pietre. Piccole pietre che io andrei a lanciare contro qualcuno. Ah, guarda qua.
English ham and eggs. One advantage on an international trip is the international breakfast. Many of my fellow countrymen think it's outrageous to eat fried bacon, sausages, or anything heavy for breakfast. I, on the other hand, think ham and eggs are the only worthwhile contribution the English have made to international cuisine.
E mi trovo d'accordo ancora una volta, incredibile.
It's not fair. There's a magnificent buffet, but I don't have an appetite. Maybe a side effect of the tranquilizer. It's not fair. There's a... Excellent.
Oh, un po' di caffè.
Ah, that's just what I needed.
Adesso è drogato e svegniamo ancora.
Coffee is not bad at all, but one cup is enough.
Vediamo ancora qua se ci sono degli indizi.
Not fair. There's a...
No, basta. Devo trovare assolutamente il modo di entrare nello studio di Legrand. Anche perché... Anzi no, torno di qua che... No, c'è solo esci dal bar come interazione. Sì, qua abbiamo già guardato 8 volte. Anche perché forse nello studio di Legrand c'è modo di prendere il campione di sangue. Perché non ho idea di come prendere il campione di sangue, cioè devo prendere il lenzuolo sostanzialmente. Quindi c'è poco da fare. Vediamo se questo qua ha qualche opzione di dialogo nuova. No. No, sotto ci siamo appena stati. Io non vedo neanche una lente di ingrandimento qui. Quindi usciamo di qua. Vorrei capire dove sono Matt e sua mamma. Perché lei ha le forcine. Cioè io voglio le forcine. Proviamo a salire. Con i sassi c'è poco da fare. Riguardiamo qua perché magari mi sta sfuggendo qualcosa di ovvio. Comunque se si è all'aperto non ci sono le righe a quanto pare. Hanno gestito abbastanza male la faccenda della luce dal mio punto di vista, perché appunto non dovrebbe incidere sul diario per esempio, e la gamma è davvero troppo bassa. Dobbiamo andare a prendere il secondo colpo di pistola. Purtroppo Legrand è rimasto un attimino abbagliato dalle sue teorie. No, qua sopra non c'è niente. Andiamo avanti di qua. Adesso vediamo se riesco... Oh, eccolo qui, Matt. Finalmente. Che cacchio sta facendo? Cos'è quella roba? Matt? Ho bisogno di te. Ah, guarda lì che c'è gente.
Matt is keeping himself busy with that strange game. He seems to be okay again, but I think he'd be running around all over the place if he'd really come to terms with what happened on the train. Hello there, partner.
Hi.
Are you all right?
Uh-huh.
Have you recovered from our adventure?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Zellner.
Hmm?
What's going on?
What do you mean?
Everybody's acting so strange. And there's tape across that door. I saw that in a movie once.
You don't have to be worried.
Is it about the man from the train?
It might be about the thief, yes.
Haven't you caught him yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I heard you and your mom used to argue a lot.
We did. Everything was bad. The house, school, the other kids. We didn't have much money, and I was always alone.
You do know that your mother would love to have been with you, don't you? She had to go out to work to earn money.
She wouldn't have had to, if Dad were still around.
And how do you get along with her now?
I'm always happy when we do something together on vacation. She has more time for me now, and I like my boarding school. I have lots of friends, and the teachers aren't so bad.
Intanto il professor Lucien ha deciso di fare la mossa.
Your mother and Professor Lucien seem to be on very good terms with each other. Don't you like him?
Don't know.
He seems to be very nice.
I guess.
Lady Westmacott is all by herself in the saloon. Maybe you'd like to visit her later.
Sure. The lady tells exciting stories.
I know. She's my favorite writer.
She told me that it's not much fun to write detective novels. She'd rather write something else, but her fans always want the same thing.
They made her rich and famous.
I told her to write what she wants to write. If it's good, someone will buy it. And if not, at least she had fun writing it. Then she smiled and nodded. She said it was a good idea.
Effettivamente.
What are you playing there?
I'm playing shuffleboard. At least I'm trying to.
Never played it before.
It's easy. Professor Lucien explained it to me.
And who won?
We didn't play.
You didn't want to play with him, did you? Do you want to play a game with me?
Sure.
Magari c'è un minigioco.
I think you'll have to explain the rules to me first.
Okay, you play with the blue pucks and I play with the red ones. You have to push the pucks with this stick into the zone over there and score as many points as possible.
Sounds easy. How many pucks do I have?
6. Now here comes the kicker. First it's your turn, then mine, and so on. But everyone is allowed to shoot the other person's pucks out of the zone.
Then let's get started.
Oh yeah. What are we playing for?
I thought we'd just play for fun.
That's boring. We have to bet something. Otherwise it isn't fun.
You English people.
So I'll bet my brand new slingshot. And you?
I don't want to gamble.
How about ice cream in Cairo?
Okay. If I win, I get the slingshot. If I lose, I get an ice cream in Cairo.
Perfetto. Così possiamo usare i sassi per lanciarli attorno.
Never try to cheat Matt Miller. So, what do you say? Ice cream versus slingshot?
All right. Let the games begin.
Allora, preparatevi a perdere. Come si fa a lanciare? Non... Ok, penso che il primo lancio sia stato molto corto. Come cacchio si lancia? Ma se continua così facciamo noi i punti. Ah, ok, devo tirare indietro, perfetto. Allora, adesso facciamo un tiro di quelli potentissimi. Perfetto. Siamo due campioni, come si può notare. Ehi, meno 10. No, aspetta, meno 10 non è positivo. Proviamo a beccare. Vorrei beccare questo qua, ma non riesco ad avere abbastanza potenza con l'angolo che mi permette di fare. Niente, allora andiamo dritto per dritto. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Quindi?
Rats.
Haha, I win. That's one ice cream for me.
You've been practicing.
Arrenditi, no, no. Giochiamo di nuovo.
This time I'll win.
Nah, I doubt that.
Dobbiamo prendergli la fionda. Allora. Un po' troppo. Tutti a 0, bene. Sì, dai, non vale. Quanto è preciso? Ok, ora stiamo vincendo noi. No! Perché non mi dai punti? Ok, adesso dovremmo avere un vantaggio importante. Un punto ha fatto. Io ho fatto fare un po' di punti in più, ma non ne abbiamo fatti tanti. 30 a 16. Attenzione che quello lì. 26. Non voglio perdere, non voglio perdere. Ah! Abbiamo vinto! Che culo.
That's it.
Oh, man.
The athlete wins the day.
One more time.
No, that's enough for me.
All right. Here.
Are you sure?
Gambling debts are debts of honor.
I'll give it back to you when I don't need it anymore, okay?
Okay. But make sure my mom doesn't catch you with it. She thinks it's dangerous.
Io voglio mettergli qualcosa nell'acqua. No. Tanto è suonato il timer, che me lo sono perso. Penso di sì, però voglio fare la conversazione con quelli là.
Miss Miller and the professor are talking intensely. She seems pretty relaxed, by her standards. Miss Miller and the professor are Good morning, Miss Miller. Professor Lucien?
Constable Zellner, how are you? I heard you passed out last night.
Well, not quite. I was poisoned.
Oh.
That wretch!
Who do you mean by that wretch?
That stowaway. That new Raven.
The young man can't be the murderer. Constable Oliver had already apprehended him when the shot was fired.
You mean...
Whoever killed the Baroness is still on the loose.
I think I should take my leave. I'd like to rest for a while.
One last question, Professor. Do you think the eye is well protected in the safe in Legrand's cabin?
Of course it is. They assured me that it would take hours of work with heavy machinery to crack the safe. And if Legrand isn't in his cabin, Constable Oliver or I check that everything is in order every hour.
I understand.
I want to go back to my cabin. I'll see you later, Mary.
Oh, of course.
Mary la chiama. Noi abbiamo chiesto della chiave, non ce l'ha fatto chiedere.
I didn't want to interrupt your conversation with Professor Lucien so abruptly.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Learning that there's still a burglar on board seemed to frighten him.
He was so relaxed the whole time, and then...
And then the stupid Swiss constable came by and made him anxious.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
No matter. I'm sure he'll calm down and come back soon enough. May I ask you a few questions?
Of course.
Sono lunghe. Volevo chiedergli di una forcina io invece. Proviamo a chiedergli di Matt.
How is Matt? He seems happy enough.
After all the commotion, he's already back to his old self again. But I haven't told him about the murder. That would be a bit too much for him.
I think he's made of sterner stuff.
I want to thank you again for what you did on the train. I wouldn't have known...
Everything's fine. Think nothing of it. How was last night for you?
It was awful. I was having a conversation with Edgar, Professor Lucien, here on the forecastle. Then I wanted to look for the lady and went forward via the side deck. When I passed the Baroness's cabin, I heard a muffled scream.
You heard a scream?
Yes. I thought the Baroness probably had a fall. I went to the door and listened for a moment. Since I couldn't hear anything, I knocked on the door and asked whether she was all right. There was no answer.
Interesting. And then?
I didn't know what to do, so I tried to open the door. It was locked. I saw the Baroness's butler, Mr. Inch, on the forecastle. I thought he might have the key and went back. On the way, the bobby crossed my path, and then Edgar, who wanted to check the safe. I explained the situation to him, and then the alarm went off.
Un sacco di robe allora. C'è stato questo urlo, è tornato indietro, ma ha visto l'agente e il professore andare di là a vedere la cassaforte.
How did the scream sound?
It was a short outcry, very frightened, as if someone had been startled.
Was it a woman's voice?
Yes, the voice was high.
So it could have been a scream from the Baroness. Possibly because she discovered someone in her cabin.
Possibly.
That person might have threatened her with a weapon, so that she wouldn't scream for help.
Oh, God.
He waited until the coast was clear.
Oh, please, stop it, Mr. Zellner.
Quindi eri vicinissima all'assassino, ah!
The Baroness's butler said that he was on the forecastle as well?
Yes, he was standing on the other side of the deck smoking a cigarette.
Was he on the forecastle the whole time?
I'm not sure. He was there, and later he was on the side deck with us. Oh, yes, he looked after you while you were unconscious. He unbuttoned your collar and held your head while the doctor checked you.
But you can't say for certain whether he came from the forecastle with you and Professor Lucien, or afterwards.
Well, no. But where else could he have come from?
Did you report that to Inspector Legrand?
Yes, last night. He was very interested and took a lot of notes. But I wanted to look for Lady Westmacott, and he let me go without further delay. He said that he'd take down my full statement today.
I understand.
Do you think the man from the train also killed the Baroness, Constable Zellner?
I don't know yet.
It's horrible. Explosions, thieves, murderers. This isn't the right place for a lady and a little boy.
Effettivamente.
You and Professor Lucien seem to be having a lively conversation.
Oh, yes. He's an expert in ancient Egyptian art and preeminent in hieroglyphic research. He's the head of the Egyptian department in the British Museum, you know. And he's going to open an exhibition at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Right. For the eye.
They had planned on exhibiting both jewels together for the first time in decades, but that's not going to happen now, sadly. I think it's quite upsetting for him.
We're working hard to ensure that at least one eye will be on display.
I know. I'll ask Lady Westmacott if she'd like to participate in the opening of the exhibition. I think it would be good for her.
And Professor Lucien will surely offer you a private tour.
Peccato che chi ha pagato per tutto non ci sia più.
You're American, aren't you?
That's correct.
And you moved to England because of the job?
I lived in England before. During the Second World War, I volunteered. I worked in a pharmacy on a US base north of London.
In a pharmacy? Interesting.
Well, it was the war and everyone was sent where they could help best.
Please, go on, Mrs. Miller.
After the war, I studied music in London. I met my husband there. We married and went back to the States together.
He was also American?
No, English. But he said he had problems with his family and he wanted to be as far from them as possible.
And you gave up your studies for him?
Well, yes, I did.
Farmacia. Quindi potrebbe aver confezionato lei il veleno che ci ha addormentati?
Life as a single mother couldn't have been easy.
It was pretty tough then. I worked from morning till night and it was still only enough for the bare necessities. And I couldn't give Matt all the attention he needed.
And then Lady Westmacott entered your life.
It was like an angel appeared to me. She must have offered me the position out of pity. I had no experience as a carer. She made me a generous offer. I couldn't believe it. And she really adores Matt. She's offered him a good education, and now he has every opportunity in life.
An almost unbelievable story.
I'm still afraid that it's a dream and that I'll wake up one day.
How does it feel to work for such a world-famous person?
The work is very interesting and varied, and it pays well, too.
You are very lucky that the lady offered the position to you.
I just hope she won't change her mind one day. What would become of Matt's education then? I really make an effort to measure up to Lady Westmacott's expectations, but sometimes I feel like I fall short.
Lady Westmacott couldn't ask for a better companion.
I'm saving up as much money as I can all the same. I'd do anything so that Matt doesn't have to give up his new life.
Ah, quello del libro.
Lady Westmacott dropped a hint on the train that she killed her hero, Partout. What did she mean by that?
Oh, she must have meant the manuscript.
Manuscript?
She always takes it with her. It's an unpublished Partout novel. I once asked her why she never published it. She said that according to her will, the novel's only to be published after her death.
And in it, Partout will be killed?
Maybe. I've never read it. No one has. You'd better ask her yourself.
If you worked in a pharmacy, you would certainly know something about medicines and poisons.
Everything is a potential poison, Constable. It depends on the dose.
Have you ever heard of chloral hydrate?
It's a tranquilizer, isn't it?
I'm asking you.
Well, Lady Westmacott also asked questions like that, for her last novel. But since I've never wanted to kill anyone, I never bothered with things like strychnine and arsenic and all that. I could recommend something for a headache, a sore throat, or a rash.
That's kind of you, but there's really no need. I'll be seeing you, Miss Miller.
Constable?
Va bene, allora direi che possiamo interrompere l'episodio di oggi qui. Adesso voglio usare la fionda per tirare qualche sasso addosso a questo che si sveglia. O non lo so, comunque provare qualcosa del genere. Per andare giù a parlare col tizio. Abbiamo preso un bel po' di informazioni da questa parte. Quindi c'è stato un urlo, di conseguenza la baronessa non era completamente stordita. Si è accorta che c'era qualcuno. Però dovremo andare a risolvere questo mistero nei prossimi episodi. Quindi ci salutiamo qua, ci vediamo nel prossimo episodio. Vi chiedo di lasciare un bel mi piace per sostenere sia le serie che il canale. E ci vediamo sotto nei commenti. GG a tutti.